Yo, what's up? So I recorded this video a couple days after PTR ended, whenever last week or whenever it ended, but I didn't have time to edit it and get it posted because of the kids' birthdays and they were sick and just a whole bunch of IRL shit going on. But I got messaged by a million people asking for me to post the VOD. One, the VOD from the 15 Shadow Priest run, and then two, this little tips and tricks things or whatever that's hooked to it. So here's a video. It's late. I'm sorry. I will have the P3 shit up soon. And also, the VOD is not, this is not the whole VOD. It's kind of linked down, but some people ask for the whole VOD. The link to the Twitch VOD will actually be in there too. Just click the link and it'll take you straight to the VOD itself. So you don't have to go through and sift through the whole stream or look for timestamps or anything. Enjoy the video. Peace. What's up, dudes? So the other day when PTR was up, like, 4 or 5 days ago, whenever it was up, the Shadow Priest Discord, your one-stop shop for everything and anything Shadow Priest related, did a full Shadow Priest run of ToGC. Trial of the Grand Crusader. Well, we can't say full because we still needed our healers. We still needed our tanks. We're about a Boomy to buff us and shaman and stuff like that. DKs. Stuff that you needed. So we had 15, I repeat, 15 Shadow Priests in this raid. And it was a lot of fun. So I wanted to post that video, but I also wanted to talk as we go through the bosses and kind of like my thoughts on the bosses, how it felt from a Shadow Priest perspective. Right. I had a templated character over, so I was in phase 1 gear. I wasn't super geared like everybody else was, but it was still a lot of fun. And you'll see some pumpers out there. Okay. So before we start, I want to shout out the beautiful, the lovely, the Shadow Priest Discord, your one-stop shop for everything Shadow Priest related. This is the #1 place I go for any kind of links, information, anything. Before I say anything, link anything, do anything, post anything, I go straight to the big brains over there, Linello, Passion, Kiwi. The list goes on for all of them. They're giga brains over there, okay? So please check out this Discord if you want any real theory crafting from the Shadow Priest. And of course, I'm going to shout out the man, Pants Gaming, the #1 Shadow Priest content creator on YouTube. Check him out. You probably already know who he is, and if you don't, go straight to his channel right now. I'll link it fucking somewhere around here. Okay. He makes niche and very min-maxing content with Shadow Priest in terms of macros, add-ons, snapshotting, rotation, boss per boss tips. He's delving into the straight boss tips overall, general too. He's just a really cool guy, knowledgeable guy. So make sure you go check him out. Like I said, I'll link it fucking somewhere. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so before we begin, know that I'm going to talk about the boss strats really loosely here. If you need more in-depth information on the boss strats, go check out Jordy, Sarth, Farts Gaming, the millions of people who make boss guides, okay? We're just going to loosely go over it. This is kind of just to show you that we did it with 15 Shadow Priests, and I'll loosely talk about the rotation. Okay, so the first fight is Beasts. This is a 3-phase encounter, with the first one being Gormak, the second one being 2 worms that you fight called Dreadscale and Acid Maw, I believe, and then the third one is Ice Out, okay? So for the first phase, it's a single target encounter. His name is Gormak or something like that. And it's pretty much single target. You're fighting this guy, and every now and then he grabs a kobold and throws it at somebody. You can multi-dot that kobold with Vampiric Touch and Shadow Word Pain. It's always worse unless the Shadow Word Pain's not going to get any more than like 6 or 7 ticks. So just make sure that you're full focus target Gormak. Always focus target your main target when it comes into anything multi-target range, right? I have a nice little keybind set up to him, so I can just press Alt F and it focus targets him. All right. You can also just right click the flame and do it if you didn't know that. You right click the flame, click focus. But I would always suggest not clicking and always set up a keybind. Anyway, focus target Gormak and just go full Vampiric Touch, Shadow Word Pain, Devouring Plague, Mind Blast on cooldown, spam Mind Flayed like you normally would for your single target rotation. And then obviously make sure Shadow Word Pain has your 5 stacks of Shadow Weaving on it. And then when the kobolds come out, you'll see him. He has them in his hand first, and he has like 2 or 3 seconds before he fucking throws it. As the 2 or 3 seconds up, depending on your range, he can grab it and throw it out of your range. So just make sure, like, I do it right away. Like, you see it in his hand, throw up a Vampiric Touch, throw up a Shadow Word Pain, and let him throw him. And then keep blasting into the boss. Don't waste your Mind Blast on the kobolds. They naturally die to cleave, and all the Warlocks multi-dotting, and the Boomy multi-dotting, and the Shadow Priest multi-dotting, and then the DK, everybody just gets, it naturally cleaves it down. Don't worry about going full single target rotation in there. And then once he's going to keep throwing kobolds. Once Gormak dies, eventually you'll have some leftover kobolds to sear him down or do whatever you can do to kill them. So you can sear if everything gets grouped up. It's a pretty fun phase and a pretty relatively easy phase. This whole fight is pretty easy. But like I said, it's really fun. You get the multi-dot. So single target rotation in the Gormak, multi-dot the ads. For the next phase is the 2 worms. This is probably the most fun part of being a Shadow Priest, I feel like, or an Affliction Warlock, because I play both, obviously. You're going to kill Acid Maw first, so what I do is I focus target Dreadscale. I always focus target my off target first. Then I just go full Vampiric Touch, Devouring Plague, and Shadow Word Pain into Acid Maw, while being able just to mouse over and put a VT and a Shadow Word Pain up on Dreadmaw, whatever the fuck his name is, okay? That makes it really easy. You don't want to have to be tabbing back and forth or clicking back and forth. If you are doing that, that's okay, but it's just something that you should get used to because it'll make you do a little bit better, you know? So you're just full single target rotation in the Acid Maw while keeping Vampiric Touch up and refreshing your Shadow Word Pain on Dreadscale, okay? And then that's the whole encounter. They go into the ground sometimes, and when Acid Maw goes on the ground, obviously switch over and nuke, Mind Blast, Mind Flay, Dreadscale, and so on and so forth. The last part of this phase is Ice Howl. This is just a single target rotation. There's not much you can do outside of making sure you have some mana for the next phase by dispersing in between the phases. But really, you just pump on him. The only thing I can tell you to do is he's going to have a charge, which I'll show right now. He's going to have this whole thing where he steps back, blows everybody against the wall, and then charges somebody, and it stuns you for like 5 seconds, 8 seconds or something. What I like to do is make sure that you're watching the DBM timer, and when Ice Howl has his little knockback, just make sure you refresh your dots. I will even clip a dot to make sure that the dot doesn't run out. Say there's 2 seconds left on your, or, you know, say there's 4 seconds left on Vampiric Touch or DP or whatever, and all of a sudden he does the blowback, and right when he did the blowback, your dots just fell off. Now you're just sitting there stunned against the wall with no dots on the target. It's kind of stupid. So when I see Ice Howl's going to do his charge, I'll see it coming up, and I'll be like, okay, let's put the dots up real quick beforehand. So you have a fresh VT, fresh Shadow Pain, fresh what's the other one? Help, DP, VT, whatever. You know what I'm getting at. Fresh round of dots, so when you get blown back for 5 to 8 seconds or whatever it is, you have damage going out, okay? And that's pretty much all you can do. Obviously, boot and stuff to get out of the way. You can dispersion it too, but just like make sure you get out of the way so you don't get charged. It's very telepathic. You don't even need a boot. You can just literally, he could look at you and you could still walk out without, or you could still run out without boots and make it out, okay? Next up is Lord Jaraxxus, which I'm just gonna call Lord J because it sounds cooler to me. Okay, Lord J is a single target encounter for the most part, but he does spawn 4 different things. He spawns nether portals, he spawns the Mistresses of Pain, he spawns volcanoes, and he spawns infernals. Infernals, yeah, there's 4 things. You're going to pretty much focus target the boss and keep DP, VT, and Shadowed Pain on the boss at all times, and Mind Blast on cooldown while you're Mind Flaying. And then when these ads come up, you're going to quickly VT them and Shadowed Pain them. Shadowed Pain is going to depend on how fast you're killing them. The nether portals kind of die rather fast and you're supposed to nuke them, so I can't imagine people would be Shadow Paying that too long. I can definitely see a VT and you're kind of going to a Mind Blast single target rotation on the portal because it dies so fast. But when these Mistresses of Pain come out, that's when you're going to want to VT and Shadow Pain them along with the volcanoes. The volcanoes die kind of fast too, so you kind of got to judge that on your own, but definitely VT them and Mind Blast them to kill them real quick. And then when the Infernals come out, go ahead and toss a VT and a Shadow Pain on them as well, all while keeping your rotation going on Lord J. The one thing I would do want to mention is the Mistresses of Pain do a Mistress's Kiss. I'm having trouble saying mistress today. They do a Mistress's Kiss, which is a 1.5 second cast on someone, and what it does is the next school of magic that you use, it'll do some damage and kick you for 8 seconds, right? Which is completely aggravating as a Shadow Priest, as you can imagine, because if you don't, like, you'll have DBM and weak auras telling you to stop casting, but if you're not quick at it, it just kicks you automatically right out of it, which is very annoying because it's an 8 second kick, right? You can also bait this when it goes out, and when you see the Mistress's Kiss go out, put a bubble on there or something, do a holy spell, and then it'll kick you from the holy, and you can just go back and continue going into your shadow rotation, or you can just stop casting, but I would definitely suggest kicking it. I'm horrible at this, and both of my warlocks and my Shadow Priest, every time I did this, I got kicked, so don't take it from me. Don't learn from me. Just try to get it down. You'll have DBM will help you guys, and hopefully you guys are better at it than me. Other than that, you can get some cheeky Mind Seers into when everything gets kind of conglomerated all together, but this is a pretty fun fight, another multi-dotting fight, which is pretty fun. The next boss is an extremely fun one. It's called the Faction Champions. This is a big 10 on 25 arena battle, kind of. You have 10 of them, one of each class, and you have 25 of you guys, and it's literally exactly that. It's a PvP, even to the point where AoE damage is reduction by 75%, so you can't Mind Seer here. If you Mind Seer, it's going to be doing 75% less damage, which means you get to multi-dot everything. It's a little bit more than that because this is one of those things where you have CCs going out and they have PvP trinkets and stuff, so you can kind of help by running in there, blowing a fear if your warrior doesn't do it, and it'll make them pop their PvP trinkets. But the fight basically consists of, you got to CC some targets. Not really you per se, but you need to CC. You'll have like a warlock and a mage. Like we had a warlock and a mage alternate the healers, and one fears and one sheeps. And when the DRs come, they switch characters, right? Or they switch their CCs over, right? Or like we had a warlock, there's a Wrestle Druid in tree form. We had a warlock hard banish 1 until DRs were done, and then fear 1 until DRs were done, and then hard banish 1, then fear 1, and so on and so forth, right? Which is really fun. I did try to mind control multiple mobs, which you'll see me do. I tried to do it multiple times in different mobs, and they couldn't be mind controlled. They were immune to them each time. So I don't know if that's just caught it during DR or what, but I couldn't really get it down. All that being said, this is just a fight where I just multi-dot as much as you can. VT and Shadow Pain everything. I'm positive there's going to be a better way to do this. That's when I say check out the Shadow Priest Discord or Pants Gaming for the real tips on it. But in my opinion, you're going to keep DP up on one mob, and you're going to VT everything and then Shadow Word it all down. Very fun fight. Save your dispersion for when you get chased. You get chased by the rogue, the warrior, TK sometimes. And when they chase you, you will get like 1 to 2 shots. So this is very good to keep a bubble on yourself, or to save your dispersion for it because you know it's going to save you. What else? Yep, that's about it. I like this fight a lot. It's a lot of fun. The next fight is Twin Valks, which is a very, very fun fight. It's a unique fight where you have, to make it simple if you don't know the fight, To make it simple, there's two Valks, twin Valks. One's light, which is fire damage, but one's light and then one's shadow. Okay. So you also have 4 portals that are sitting around the room. When you click this portal, it gives you an aura, right? You stalker have a light or a dark aura to match this thing. You pretty much do less damage to whatever the twin you're attacking of the same color, but you do a bunch more damage on the opposite color, right? So, and also you take less damage from the same color and you take more damage from the opposite color. Simply put, if you in this example are dark, right? You have the dark aura, you do less damage to the dark twin who also does less damage to you. As in like almost none. However, if you're the dark aura, you do more damage to the light twin who also does more damage to you. Okay, that's very simple. Now there's only 2 mechanics that really happen in here. They're called special abilities. Well, there's more than 2 mechanics, but the things that you got to worry about are there's 2 special abilities. There's a vortex and a shield, right? The shield means one of the twins are going to put a shield on them. You have to break the shield and then someone needs to kick the heal that's going to be casted, right? So you have a certain amount of time. I don't know. I'm not even going to try to pretend like I know how long the time is, but he'll start casting this heal, this long cast. Your raid will then usually get lusted if it's the same shield. You have to break the shield and then interrupt, right? The other special ability is a vortex, which is a bunch of damage, raid-wide damage. You take a lot of damage depending on what color it is. If you're the dark aura and it's a dark twin that does it, you're not going to take much damage. If you're dark aura and it's a light twin that does it, you're going to take a shit ton of damage. Okay. Obviously, you can dispersion this sucker, so you're pretty safe. Also, Shadow Priests are known to soak on this ability. You have these little orbs coming out, different colored orbs, light and dark, that do damage depending on who they hit for the color, right? Matching color or opposite colors. For this reason, they usually have, not usually, I don't want to say usually, but a lot of times Shadow Priests do soak. If that's the issue, you're just running around grabbing orbs of your color, right? You'll have to split it up. You grab the orbs of your color. That usually looks like, say your whole raid is dark, you'll have 4 or 5 people light aura soaking those light orbs, which is good because you get a nice little damage boost at the end, which is nice. Okay, now that that's done, in terms of the boss encounter, this is not really one. Obviously, this is just right now. You can definitely go to the Warlock. Warlock man here. You definitely go to the Shadow Priest Discord to learn more about this, but the multi-dotting wasn't really happening a lot here. I know some people were testing out multi-dotting and they said it did more damage for them. You do 50% less damage to the same color mob. So in this example, if you're dark and you guys are wailing on the light one, you can put a VT up and a Shadow Pain on the other mob, but it does not worth it in my opinion because you're doing 50% less damage. You're not getting any extra resources out of VTing or Shadow Painting, especially because you can just spend those same globals pumping into the dark one in this example, the one that you're going to be doing more damage on, the opposite colored one. There was some little, you can do some snapshotting stuff too, but it wouldn't be worth snapshotting, you know, just having a Shadow Pain up and then quickly doing a Mind Flay on the same color. However, there is some stuff that you can do where in this example, say your whole raid is dark, you start light, you could put up like your 5 Shadow Weavings on the light mob or the dark mob since you're light, right? And then throw up a Shadow Pain and then switch to dark with the boot over to the dark portal, switch to dark with the rest of your raid and start wailing on the light one, right? And then you have your buffed Shadow Pain on both mobs. And then you can just use the Mind Flay to keep the Shadow Pain up on the other one that you're now same color for. The only problem with that is I don't think it's going to be worth it. I think the general consensus is that it's not worth it, simply because you'd have to blow a Mind Flay every now and then just to keep it up, which doesn't really seem worth it. And Shadow Pain isn't the best of dots. That's one of those feel crafty speculation, subjective things I'm saying right now. So make sure once again to go to the Shadow Priest Discord where they will actually, you know, deep dive that much further than we have. This is just speculation right now going around. Not everybody's mind's on ToGC. There's just a few of us that are really, thinking about it pretty hard. But it's a possibility, so just keep that in your head. Overall, this is a fun fight. I can't wait to see about the multi-dotting and if that's going to be a thing or not. I don't think it's going to, but I've been known to be wrong, so we'll find out. So for the last boss, it's Anub, and this is a very, very fun fight. Anub works kind of interesting, where he has his main phase where you're just nuking him, and then throughout the entire fight, he's spawning ads, right? So if you're on normal, it's 2 ads, and if you're on heroic, it's 4 ads. These ads have a lot of health, which means you can multi-dot. In this situation, everybody found out that you should just be VTing a couple of them. Some people are VTing 1 or 2 of them. I was being greedy and trying to do all 4 of them. I honestly will tell you, I don't know what's best yet. Once again, Shadow Priest Discord, they'll help you out with that. But this is one where you just focus target Anub, single target rotation, and then you just put VT up on the ads. I wouldn't really worry about Shadow Pain because it feels like it's not worth the global because you need to do a lot of damage to Anub. This is a single target fight. I know it looks very tempting to Mind Seer, which is another thing that you can do, but that's going to be dependent on your guys' strat as a guild. We found out that like the DKs, the hunters, the fire mages, the shamans, even the rep paladins with Seal Command, they're doing a ton of passive cleave, ad damage. So the ads don't really have a lot of struggle. So what I would suggest is just going single target into the boss, throw up some VTs to help with the mobs. And then if you see that if you see there's like, you know, 5-6 seconds left until ads are coming out and these ads are still not dead, then you can kind of help with some mind sears. Other than that, it's one of those things where, once again, I could be wrong. This could be go based on your raid and how you guys are killing things. But personally, our guild and Fusion, this obviously wasn't a guild run, but with Fusion, we don't have anybody seeding or searing or doing extra AoE damage, unless it's with your single target rotation, like a DK, Fire Mage, Hunter, Enhancement Shaman, you know, whatever, the list goes on. Other than that, it's a really fun fight. I like it a lot. And then in between the phases, he has this little, you have the Scarab phase where you're just trying to kill these Scarabs. These are just nice little VT and a Mind Blast and then Mind Flame down. Phase 3 is the interesting phase. This is when he does the Leeching Swarm. And the Leeching Swarm is, it takes 10% of your current health on normal and 30% of your current health on heroic, and it just leeches it to the boss. It's one of those things where you don't want to do any extra healing. We had, I think at one point we had, like on this one, we had so many Shadow Priests and Vampiric Touches doing the leeching, so we had a couple of us take it off in this example. But this is when you want to ignore the ads kind of fully and just go super ham on the boss. You really need this boss to die. This is gonna be a very dangerous phase. We've wiped, this was a normal run that you're seeing behind us, so it wasn't that serious. My guild was wiped I don't know how many times, and we've cleared the raid multiple times, but we've wiped a lot. I know Pants, like I said, I'll link his chat. I linked this thing earlier. If you go, he has a full no wipe 50 attempt run where his guild went in there and cleared it all. So to Sarth over on Sarth's channel, he has one for Noda if you want to check that out as well. Overall, it's a really fun fight and a really fun raid. And that's all. I just want to talk about this. I'll let the rest of this fight play out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, please go check out Pants. Please go check out the Shadow Priest Discord, and I hope this helps somebody out there. This raid is a lot of fun, obviously, with 15 Shadow Priests. It's a lot of fun in general. I can't wait to do this on my Shadow Priest once I get a little more gear and actually have fun with this. And I can't wait to do it for the next PTR. And until then, see you around.